The only reason you are not happy and prosperous now is because you are not being yourself. That's the only reason. You might make up some other excuses. You might even think that you're just not happy because of what's going on in the world, but that's not true either. The real reason is you are not being yourself. And you may look at your bank account and think, I had a bad time and this is why I'm really broke right now. That's not it either. It's because you're not being yourself. It is really as simple as that. And I can say that because I wasn't being myself. So I've lived this and I know it. And I know the ways to change it also. It is us, when we come into the world, we all have equal ability, equal gifts. And if you have any sort of spiritual or religious beliefs like that, you've probably heard that. But then we start to deny it. We say it couldn't be us. Somehow we are not the people who could be having this great ability. And then we keep trying to be that person that we think has that ability, and we keep chasing after them. We'll take the next course. We'll take the next mentor or therapist or whatever it is. And we're saying, why hasn't that worked? Why aren't we there yet? Because we weren't willing to become ourselves. I'm saying it, I'll say it over and over again because I know it's true. I've seen it with thousands of people and I know it within myself. I'll tell you one little story because I sent out something yesterday, which was my channeling session, which I didn't really share with people exactly for the reason that I didn't. I received something that was this judgment about why I was doing this, and I thought, okay, that's exactly what keeps everyone down, is judgment. You are judging yourself, and that's the reason you can't be yourself. And that's the reason you're not really happy and prosperous at this time, is because you have not yet become willing to be yourself. I wish I could say it was something else, but I know that it's not. And I've proven this so many times. And I'm going to read something else to you, and why I'm talking about this, because I'm going to make a little change on my program that I told you about, 4 weeks to your best life, because I know it's more important now for people to have this information so that you can become that happy and prosperous person, because you will be able to accomplish that. And you're not going to do it in 4 weeks, and that's what I'm going to tell you now. I was watching John Assaraf and Mary Morrissey. They both had like webinars or trainings going today, and they were both talking about the same thing, about how human behavior, and Tony Robbins, every coach has talked about it, because we understand things now. We understand neuroscience. We understand neuroplasticity. All of these different things that we have been given that are tools to change what we've done to ourselves. Because we've done it. We create limitations. We will look at ourselves and we think, oh, I am this worthless person. I've made these mistakes. I don't have any talent. I don't have any ability. And so because of neuroscience now, that's who you become. You can think of it like it's a spiritual thing, or it's a whatever you might, however you think of it, you are doing it. You're programming yourself over and over again. And that's what I was doing, because see, it wasn't okay for me to become myself. Even though it was the most valuable thing that I had. And my guides said to me always, the thing that you typically fear the most is your gift. And I started to remember all of this, and I started to hear it, and then I started to feel a little guilty, because I thought I could have done more. Because if I had done more, people they would understand what's happening in the world right now, because I do understand that. And there would have been a little more calm, and maybe we could have injected something into the world that would be different than what's happening now. But I wasn't willing to become myself, you see, because somebody might think this is strange and weird and different. That's why I didn't do it. But, I'll tell you, this was in June of 2020. Since that time, I've been receiving information, which I've shared with you, and but I didn't want to really frighten people or get you upset, but this is what has come through for me, so I knew where we were headed. And then that doubt that we have, am I really understanding this? And I'm talking about you in your doubt in your life, or what you're here to do, or can you do it, or the thing you think you've been given, but not willing to, really explore it. But this is what came, I kept getting references to Hitler, and I didn't know, why am I getting this? And it was talking about changes in our society. They happen all the time, and they were trying to get me to understand so I could give it to everyone else. This is another change that we're moving through in our world. And just one little comment. I'll read this one part of this because they were giving me, I was receiving so much information, and this again was June of 2020. I want you to appreciate that. And they kept talking about the United States would lead the way, and that's exactly what's happening right at this moment. And how could I have known that? Because it looked very different in 2020. But this says, we will not make this a book, but the restructuring you are experiencing is your understanding of your oneness and connectedness to all, and using it to aid evolution. At times you need extreme conditions like a pandemic, or extreme leaders like Hitler, or a country like the United States, who momentarily lost its way. And it's about balance. And that's what they were saying. It's just about, we're shifting this to create a new balance in the world. And the way that we accomplish that is by more people becoming empowered, becoming who they are meant to be. And then we don't give away our power to, autocrats or dictators. And then we don't go through what we're moving through right now. And I've known that. But it was, how can I get you to believe that? I told you, I could see the changes that happened with everyone moving through the program, but you probably didn't understand why. It's based on science. It's based on neuroscience. When you're doing something over and over again, you're training yourself. Now, typically what you're training yourself is not something that's going to help you. What I've given you in 4 weeks to your best life are the right information to put into your brain to hypnotize yourself, because that's really what we're doing. We're doing it all the time. When you understand this is how we do any kind of behavior, how we become that successful person, how we gain the motivation to keep going, getting up, it is because of how we have programmed ourselves, but we have the ability to do it. Now, we come into the world with a whole bunch of other stuff, though. So we may not give ourselves enough time for that to happen, because we might be fighting it, or we have fought it since we were children. And so then it takes a little bit of time to start to reprogram that. And this is exactly what I was, John and Mary Morrissey were talking about today. And they understand, every coach understands how you have to reprogram yourself, because we've all had to do it, you see. That's what goes on. So what I decided to do, because this is really important at this time, the more of us who decide to awaken to who we are and become our best selves, we will actually change the world. And if you understanding quantum physics and mechanics, you will get to get that as that reference, and it'll make sense to you, because creation of anything happens that way. But creation in your life happens by what you choose to do and how you choose to think. Now, I will say that not everyone will do this, because not everyone becomes their happy, prosperous selves. We just give up. But that's the only reason. You give up. You just don't keep going. So I decided, how can I help that and make this different? My little portion of saving the world will be doing it with individuals, with one person. So what I decided to do, anyone who comes into the 4 weeks, and I know I'm going to leave this up until Monday, but if you come into the 4 weeks to your best life, you will have the 4 weeks and everything that's guaranteed in there. However, you won't be done. You'll be able to come in and attend the group Zoom calls that are every week in different times, so you will have a choice. So you will have support in continuing on your journey. Now, of course, you can move on to the other aspect, which is your life operating instructions, but that's more structured, and it'll be more personal with me as a coach or one of the other coaches. However, right now, what I want is more people to move through 4 weeks to your best life and stay in it as long as you need to. You have at least the year. Until Monday, I'm going to do that. I have to see how many people that I actually have. But what happens is this. You need time, and you probably haven't given yourself that time to stay with something, to actually use the known available neuroscience to change your behaviors and how you thought of yourself, to create a new life for you, which in essence will create our new world. And that's why we're all here. If you don't understand your importance in the world, or you don't want to understand your importance, you might not want to do this. But some of you have a sense that there's something within you that you may not have gotten to yet. That's not your fault. You've been programmed and you just didn't know it. I put out something where I said we were all brainwashed because we didn't know the potential that was there. But we've progressed, which is how civilization always evolves. We come in, we get new information, and we decide to use it. So I'm going to leave this offer for you, but please come into it because you do know everything that could cause you to become happy and prosperous, but you've been hiding out a bit, and so now you just need a way to get out of your way to become that person you were always meant to be. I'm so happy to offer this to you, and please come in before Monday because I don't know how many people, but I just want to have more of you in the group, but also those who have taken the first course. I'm going to contact you. You will be able to come back into the Zoom calls because we really need your energy as well. All right, you guys, have a good one.